Chair of the Senate Education Committee. Welcome to the first meeting of the Joint Conference Committee on Education as we begin to discuss our recommendations for the 23-24 enacted budget. As always, I am extremely pleased to be here with my co-chair, Chair of the Assembly Education Committee, Assemblyman Mike Benedetto, as we work together with our colleagues to strengthen and improve New York's already excellent and innovative education system. I'm joined today by the following members of the Senate Majority: Senator John Liu, Chair of the Committee on New York City Schools; Senator Ewen Chu, Chair of the Committee on Libraries; Senator Toby Ann Stavisky, Chair of the Committee on Higher Education; and our alternate, Senator John Mannion. We're also joined by the Senate Ranking Member on the Education Committee, Senator James Tedisco, and Senator Bill Weber as the alternate ranker. The Senate has designated Joel Gonzalez as our recording secretary. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Chairman Benedetto, for his announcement of his members and some opening remarks.
I don't know if I think I just turned on my microphone. Good. Well, it is a pleasure for me to be here with my co-chairperson, Senator Shelley Mayer. And I am joined with the members in the State Assembly, Assemblywoman Nili Razik, Assemblywoman Pam Hunter, Assemblywoman Carrie Warner, who's the chair of the Libraries Committee, and Assembly members Nada Sayed and Sarahana Saresta, who are our alternates. Additionally, to my left, I have the ranking member on the Assembly Education Committee, Doug Smith, and also here is John Mickelin, who will serve as an alternate. The Assembly has its own designated recording secretary, and that's Mr. Steve Rossi. Senator, I think you have made proposals in the Senate budget, and for the record, can you please tell us about them?
Thank you, Chair. I want to first acknowledge the members of the Senate Majority staff who worked so hard on the one House budget and will be instrumental in negotiating a final budget with the Assembly and with the Executive. Dave Tolman, Amanda Godkin, Joel Gonzalez, Malik Dare, Maria Morrissey, Angelica Martinez, Elena Kilcullen, Lakia Martin, and Jonathan Lang. Let me mention some highlights of the Senate One House education proposal. First, and something we're extremely proud of, is the final segment, final tranche of our 3-year commitment to the full funding of foundation aid to be paid to every school district that is owed foundation aid funding under the formula. And in addition, additional funding to every school district that was not owed additional funds. In addition, the Senate One House contains $280 million for universal school meals, for school breakfasts and lunches throughout the state. We have allocated $125 million for increasing the reimbursement rate as we continue to expand full-day pre-K in districts outside of New York City and ensure that the reimbursement rate meets the needs of districts in providing very important full-day pre-K. We have provided an additional allocation for community schools with wraparound services, particularly as students recover from COVID and families need the support of community schools. We're also very proud to have increased support for the 4201 schools, including teacher salaries, as well as language, ensuring a proper rate methodology study for all special education institutions which have been left behind. And lastly, not lastly, but for purposes of summary, we have enhanced reimbursement for BOCES and for career and technical education, longstanding commitments of the Senate Majority. I want to turn it over to Chair Benedetto, and then I think some of my colleagues on our side may want to make some opening remarks as well.
Thank you, Senator. One of the nice things about this whole budget going forward here is Well, we do have an ample amount of money that we have put into the education budget, and we seem to be in general agreement with our Senate counterparts. We in the Assembly, along with the Senate, too, has increased school aid by $3 billion for a total of $34 billion, which includes $2.6 billion foundation aid increase to fully fund, as the senator stated, the foundation aid formula for the first time in our history, and we're very proud of that. We providing the state education department with $1 million to do that important study, to recommend updates and changes to the foundation aid formula and pre-kindergarten funding formula. And this is something we talked about for many years, and we hope that now with this, it's going to happen this year. Universal school meals of $280 million has been allocated to that. Very important. If a child is hungry, they're not going to learn. Increasing funding for universal pre-K by 75, $1 million to expand the number of universal pre-kindergarten slots statewide, and they increased the per pupil rate for school districts already providing universal pre-K. And we're increasing the funding for schools for the blind and deaf, the 4201 schools, and by $12 million. And we provide $30 million in capital fund for these schools, because these schools tend to be some of the oldest schools that we have in our state and need the repairs. We, after the Senate says a few things, but before we have the Senate comment, I too want to thank the staff who has worked so hard and parsing out the numbers in this budget. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars, and they're doing the hard work behind the scenes. So we thank Matt Golden and Maria Volpe McDermott and Steve Rossi and all the other members of the Assembly staff doing the hard work. Senator, please, let's go to your members.
Thank you very much. Senator Liu?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm delighted to be part of this conference committee, and I want to echo the sentiments that you've already eloquently expressed alongside our other chairperson, Benedetto. Finally, at long last, the promise of foundation aid has been met in this year's budget. It's been proposed by the governor. It's certainly been agreed to by both chambers of the legislature. And, this is something that's 20 years in the making. And it's better late. It's late, but better late than never. And I think that in addition to finally providing the additional $2.6 billion of annual school aid, we will certainly be conducting our legislative oversight to ensure that that foundation aid is used for what it was meant to, which is to provide a sound basic education. And in particular, we'll be looking at class sizes in New York City, the problem of which was initially the genesis of the creation of foundation aid in the first place. So we got to make sure that all the money is being used effectively to provide a sound basic education. Also in our Senate budget resolution, as well as in the assemblies, we do not look for an increase in the number of charter schools, specifically in New York City. Number one, there's no reason to raise a limit simply because you have reached the limit. The limit was always there to strike a balance between allowing some level of choice for parents and the need for New York City in particular to keep all of its public schools open. And secondly, the reality is that the number of school kids in New York City has been on the decline, both in public schools as well as in charter schools. So it just makes no sense whatsoever to, at this time, lift the charter cap. With that, Madam Chair, I thank you for your tremendous leadership, and I look forward to our final budget negotiations.
Thank you very much, Senator Liu. I move to Senator Chu, Chair of the Committee on Libraries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As a chair for Libraries Committee, I would like to highlight the proposed funding for our public libraries and their importance to so many families throughout the state of New York. I'm grateful the legislature sought to restore the fund cut by the executive proposal, but we must provide more funding for our libraries. For many of our communities, our libraries are the one place that provide the essential services for our New Yorker in addition to books and education resource. They provide internet access, youth programs, senior support for our aged population, and adult literacy service for immigrant communities. While I'm grateful that our legislature understands the importance of this service, there's a need for more funding to continue supporting our education goals and the social infrastructure of our communities. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Chu. Senator Toby Stavisky, Chair of the Committee on Higher Education.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and to the staff. I have always considered, excuse me, education to start with the early pre-K and continue to postgraduate. And I look forward to seeing a seamless transition for our students that as they progress in age, they also progress in achievement, and to me, it's important that the state provide for their future education from early childhood to postgraduate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Stavisky. Senator Tedisco?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Madam Chairperson. On behalf of my conference, my minority conference, I'd just like to put on the record not a holistic presentation of the things we support in these budget presentations in the Senate and Assembly and the administration, but maybe a summary of some of those things we have concerns about a little bit, and those things we do think are important that are in parts of all of these budgets. I think we all realize today that over the last couple of years, the COVID virus has had a profound impact on all of us individually, our families, our students, and especially the educational process and programs that we provide for our kids. They've hit a brick wall. There's no question about it. And if we look at this budget and this budget year, it's extremely important. You might call it a catch-up or a rebound year. If you look at the fourth grade math scores that have taken place now, we know we not only have our kids that have hit a brick wall with the regulations and guidelines that took place, but they've regressed. So this is an extremely important budget year, and we have to get it right. Just in summary of some of these things I'd like to put on the record here. Our conference supports funding increases for our school districts, including full funding for the foundation aid formula and providing each district with a minimum increase. It supports protecting our students by establishing a school resource office education grant program to reimburse school districts outside the city of New York for the hiring of a school resource officer. It supports increasing support for the Special Act 853 and 4201 schools, which are the cost and the pricing has gone up for them tremendously, and it's a very tight labor market. So they need to get those cuts put back in place, and we agree upon that. We think we should meet the nutritional needs of our students by providing funding for food backpack programs that provide families with free groceries for weekends and school breaks, the continuation of free breakfast and lunch programs for all students, and more local sourcing for school meals. Investing in career and technical education, CTE, and do that by increasing the aidable salaries of CTE teachers from $30,000 to $60,000, implementing the Board of Regents' request for a new tier of aid for CTE within BOCES to aid and to accompany expenses for other services, capital and lease and administration. And we support the executive's proposal for $10 million over 2 years in competitive funding for school districts, BOCES, and community colleges to develop strategic workforce plans that promote job readiness across the state. And we support allowing school districts to collaborate to form regional technical high schools. In the last two areas, historically, our conference has had a history when we were in the majority of putting money back into libraries. Because historically, it seems that governors always find a place to make cuts there. We support not only bringing back the cuts, but adding aid to libraries. And one last thing I would like to, and my colleagues probably know this because they've talked to their superintendents and their administrators. The electrification of school buses in New York State, we need to take a serious look at that. We need to take a look at the timetable and helping with the expenses. As the superintendents have come to me, first thing they say is, Senator, we can't find bus drivers. Secondly, it takes 3 months to get them licensed and get them in place. Now, I don't know if there's a learning curve on how to drive an EV large bus, but they'll be driving different buses eventually in a short period of time in the timeline that's been given us. They talked to me, and they probably talked to all of my colleagues about the maintenance people who maintain gas engines in the school buses now, and said, we're going to have to train them. It's going to cost us to train them to maintain these EV buses. And they also talked to us about the fact that a school bus normally costs $130,000, and now with an EV bus, it costs $430,000. And this is the last thing I'll say that they've pointed out to me. Each one of these buses is going to need a charging station. And they've told me, many of my superintendents, they've contacted the people who provide the energy. And their real concern is that they don't know under the timetable we're giving them that they can get the line in and the charging stations in. But most importantly, they talk to me about the fact that they don't know when every bus in the state of New York, in every school district, in every school is being charged at the same time and is being utilizing that charge, if they can actually get the electricity into all those schools in the time period that they've been given to develop it. So there are some real concerns about that electrification of these buses, and I think we have to look at providing some funding if we really want them to reach those goals. So that's just a little summary of some of our
Thank you.
concerns and some of what we support. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Senator Tedisco. Senator Weber, I'm withholding your time for a minute as an alternate, if you don't mind, and let the
Sure.
Assembly.
No, I just want to thank you, Senator Mayor, and I want to just thank everyone on this committee, thank the staff for the great work that we've all collectively done so far. You know, education of our children is something that I think we all agree upon, and the historic investment that we've made over the last number of years is something that I'm proud to see. And you know, the fully funding of the foundation aid needs $80 million more for Rockland County, the school districts in my county. So, you know, I'm happy to support that, and there's a whole host of other items within the budget that I'm thrilled to see, and I think it goes a long way in terms of meeting our expectations of what we should all strive to have the best well-educated kids in this state, and I think we're on the path to do that. So I just want to thank my colleagues for all the hard work.
Thank
that
you,
we've done
Senator
so far.
Weber. Thank you very much. Chair Benedetto.
Chair Benedetto says, I think my assembly members will have a few things to say too. And so let's start with the chairperson of our Consumer Affairs Committee, Assemblywoman Rozak.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Madam Chair. I am in full agreement with much that has been said already, including fully funding for our New York City public schools, which are essential, continuing support for mental health and school-based health centers within all of our schools, and investing in CTE and teacher centers, of which there are a couple in Eastern Maine. Senator Booth and I have visited a few together, but we'd like to see that expanded. I also very much look forward to continuing to support our non-publics, especially in investments around STEM and the arts, so that all students feel support and get the resources that they deserve and that they're owed. So just look forward to continuing the work together on both the Senate and the Assembly side, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Rozak. Well said. Assemblywoman Pam Hunter, chairperson of Banks. Please.
Thank you, Chair Benedetto. It's a privilege to be able to sit on this committee. I too share the sentiments of gratefulness and long overdue fully funding our foundation aid. Our children definitely are our future. And so we need to make sure we're giving them all of the resources they need to be successful and having quality education. I definitely will be tracking what we're doing relative to the study for the electric buses and the information relative to that. I know that a lot of information has been disseminated, and we are moving forward relative to the goals of the CLCPA and want to make sure that our school districts are provided the resources they need in order to comply with those goals, because it will be very costly, and we want to make sure that they're ready and able. I know it's not included specifically in this education budget, but part of education is money for mental health. And I know that's part of a different section, but also very important part of education that it goes without saying. Every person who probably sits up here knows a child, a family, a constituent who has heard of the increased mental health needs in our schools and the desperate plea that our teachers and administrators need in supporting our students. So I do hope that our overall state budget definitely puts the resources needed to help uplift, and then all of the goals that are included in our education budget will be met with those resources as well. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Our Chair of the Libraries Committee, Carrie Warner.
Can't tell whether this is on or not. I'm going to assume it is. Thank you, Chairman Benedetto. Libraries are institutions at the heart of our communities and our neighborhoods. They literally open up worlds for the young and the old when they walk through the doors. I'm very proud of the Assembly's proposal to increase the funding of library aid to the statutorily required amount and to restore and increase the critical library construction funding. We have also proposed to reinstate the funding for the New York State Summer School of the Arts, which uniquely provides artistically talented students with an opportunity to hone their craft under the direction of world-class performers without regard to their family finances. I hope our colleagues in the Senate will support our proposal. I would be remiss if I did not say that there remains critical needs to stabilize the finances of the state's research institutions, the State Library, the State Museum, and the State Archives, and to increase the funding for library material aid for our K through 12 schools, which has been stagnant for more than a decade. And finally, I want to end by saying that the Assembly included a proposal to create a plan for the transmission and to create a plan for the necessary transmission and distribution grid capacity upgrades to support all of the bus garages in our school districts, to map them and to make sure that we have that transmission capability. And I hope that we can work together to make that part of this final budget. I look forward to working with my colleagues in the Assembly and Senate to deliver a library budget that meets the needs of all of our communities. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Werner, points well taken. Thank you very much. Now let's go to the ranker on the Education Committee, Assemblymember Doug Smith.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'm happy to be here. Assemblyman Mickulin and I are happy to be here to represent the Assembly minority. We're poised for a very good year in education, and it's couldn't be coming at a better time. So I just want to take a moment to go through some of the points that our conference is interested in, and very happy to see that I think we have great support on both sides of the aisle in both chambers, that public education is something that we all support to help our kids. A few items of note for the Assembly Republicans, which were addressed with the Assembly majority's budget, but not so much in the governor's executive proposal. Increasing the aidable salaries of BOCES program staff above the current cap of $30,000 to ensure that career and technical education programs can continue to offer the robust programs and create a vital pipeline between education and employment in high growth sectors. Foundation aid, again, finally completing the full phase-in of foundation aid due to school districts across the state by this coming school year, and including the minimum amount to schools that they've already received to fulfill their foundation aid amount. Fully restoring funding provided to the 4201 schools to at least the level of support provided last year, and allowing such schools to establish a fiscal reserve fund so they can maintain contingency funding for unexpected costs. We support, our members support universal school meals as well. As a lot of us have been in the classroom, I think we all know how hard it is to teach children who haven't eaten and know that that's something that is appreciated by, I think, all New Yorkers, and it's something that needs to be made a priority. A few things to note, and I'll summarize here. And there are some improvements that were suggested about the electric buses, but as has already been stated here, we could use some additional funding across the state to alleviate some of those fiscal concerns expressed by school districts. And our conference is also a little bit concerned about the governor's proposals, which I think, as we all know, included a reduction in library operating aid. So hopefully the final enacted budget will continue the priorities that had been set forward by the legislature. We're looking at the increases that were put there, and then also prorating prior year aid claims made by non-public schools, which would limit payments made to such schools for reimbursement of state mandates by the amount appropriated in the budget. But on behalf of the Assembly Minority Conference, we appreciate these continued conversations and look forward to working together. I think we're in a good spot where we finally have both sides of both chambers in agreement on a lot of good things for our kids and teachers. And I think we finally have an ally in the governor's office that values public education. So I hope that we can continue in this course. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member Smith. And now to our alternates on the team. First, Assembly Member Nader Sayed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure for me as a lifelong educator to be involved with the effort to really encourage greater support for education. And $34 billion is a great start. And we've seen the restoration of funds that allows us to provide meals for children that is necessary. We've seen a restoration of foundation aid. We've looked at initiatives to support services that are necessary for children that address their social needs and emotional needs, and especially after-school programs, targeted programs. And I, for one, working closely, especially with the Senate chair, looking at proposals to look at educational funding in the future. And I'm very glad that the Senate proposal includes $1 million funding to revisit the funding formula. For those of us that don't know, New York State still uses the 2000 census to determine funding, when it should be using at least the 2020 census. Furthermore, I think all of us understand as educators and those that advocate the importance of addressing special education needs, special education that also ties in English language learners, that is also becoming a big area that is necessary to address. So I, for one, appreciate the increases in the budget, and I look forward to all of us working together to make sure that moving forward, New York State has an educational formula that addresses equity in funding, that addresses equity in building aid funds. So for many districts that have school systems and school buildings that are 100 years or older, we can best address air quality and learning atmospheres that are feasible. So I'm very happy, and I look at this as a tremendous progressive move in the right direction that I believe would have a great impact on education. So special thanks to everyone involved.
Assemblyman Sage, thank you very much. Sarahana Saresa, do you have something?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I just want to echo that, the Assembly makes a lot of funding proposals that restores critical funding that would otherwise get eliminated, and also adds to public education, because we know that the public education we have in New York can be model for education, but we also know that teachers in schools have really been struggling, and we need to put some support infrastructure for them so that all of them can flourish in this environment. And we also know that students and teachers and everybody who works at these schools have a life outside of the school that needs support as well. We are, dealing with affordability crisis. We are dealing with a lot of aspects of life that makes it difficult for the student and teachers and staff to perform at school, similar to feeding the children. And I think the Assembly's proposal makes holistic improvements across the board in many areas so that we can support our students and people who work to make sure that they get good education. So I'm looking forward to fighting in the next few weeks to make sure that all of the proposals that we put in our one house make it to the final budget. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Seresta, thank you very much. And from the minority alternate, Mr. Mikula, you are the caboose here of all the people on the dais. Bring us home.
I just wanted to say that I'm very happy to be here and very happy to support education. What the legislature has done is wonderful when it comes down to the foundation aid and funding our students day to day. When you see what's going on in the classrooms, our teachers need the support necessary and our districts need the funding necessary to continue education and continue teaching our children. I'm also very happy to see that as a former Board of Trustee of a public library that the legislature has taken to increase library funding, and I hope that in the final budget this happens. Libraries are very important in our educational process, and there are many students who go there to read, learn, and do their homework. I know that I did, and there are many adults too that take educational courses and participate in activities in the library that support education in general. So I'm very happy to see that, and I hope that we have a very good result in the budget coming on up. Thank you.
Mr. McKillen, thank you very much. Senator, unless I'm mistaken, we are at the end of this conference committee. Am I correct on that?
I'd like to add one thing for the record. The State Education Department will be discussed at this conference committee. And as many of the members in both houses and on both sides have acknowledged, we're at a very good starting point. We look forward to working closely with the Assembly majority, with all the parties at this table, and with the Governor's Office to achieve a budget that, from the perspective of the state's commitment to public education and to education generally, reflects our shared values that every child, regardless of zip code, is entitled to not only sound basic education, but a quality education. And we'll continue down that path. I look forward to working together with you and our other colleagues here today.
Likewise, the feeling is mutual, and with this, we will conclude the first meeting of the Education Conference Committee. We will meet again upon the call of the General Conference Committee. Thank you for attending.